And welcome back to another tier list video. Yes, another tier list. I love tier list. I will die if I couldn't make a tier list. I love talking to myself about things I like and then posting it on YouTube. So this is why we have another tier list. I love tier lists. I love making tier lists. Well then, my previous Helldivers 2 video did really well, so I decided to make another one. Looks like I was able to help you guys a lot. So I wanted to give my own opinion on these guns. Alright, here we go. Let's start. No questions asked. 300 damage per second is a lie, sadly. I don't know what's the deal with these laser guns, but they're pretty bad. At least the times I've used them, I've probably never extracted. On Helldive at least. Because of course I can easily do lower difficulty, but on Helldive with these guns I just die. Next is the Concussive Liberator, which I find very interesting. The gun is not weak. And the gun is not bad. The gun is actually perfect. You know why? Because it does what it was meant to do. It's just the thing it's supposed to do is not good for the game at all. You see, the Liberator Concussive is called Concussive because it stuns and staggers. Now, you might be wondering why it has the explosive tag, or the explosive trait. Unlike the Liberator, this gun does not shoot the same type of explosive bullet. Let's think about a flashbang. You know how a flashbang, when you throw it, it blows up, but it doesn't do lethal damage. It doesn't kill you. It stuns you instead. I'm pretty sure that's what the devs were going for with this weapon. The Liberator Concussive essentially shoots flashbangs. Explosive flashbangs. And it does its job insanely well. In fact, I bet it does its job better than any other gun. Like the Slugger. Got nerfed. But the problem is it does no damage. Well, it does shoot flashbangs, and flashbangs don't do damage. So that's why it's really bad. But better than the laser. That's for sure. The Liberator Concussive, well, I used it on a Helldive earlier because I never used the gun before. I had it unlocked, but I never used it. So I went on a Helldive. I used it. It did pretty well. It pushes them back so far. Stay back. Stay back. Yep. Wow, it pushes them so far. Stay back. Stay back. Nobody get close. I said stay back. Stay back. No, it didn't do pretty well. It did below average of what it should, or what a normal gun should do, but it did its job perfectly. Like, it was so funny to shoot at big brute commanders and they would just go flying backwards because they're getting stunned repetitively. And this gun's fire rate is pretty slow too, and it feels a little bit strong because of that. It goes gang, 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 gang. But it does no damage, sadly. And you need to kill things in this game. So that's why it's on C tier. And now for another gang, gang, gang gun, we have the Dominator. The Dominator shines on the other faction, which we can't do currently, which is why this tier list will be focused on bugs. The Dominator is really good. Honestly, my favorite weapon in the game because I love LMGs. And I love this one. It's like the Titanfall 2 missile LMG, but without the high fire rate. And it sounds so meaty. Bam, 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 bam. And you can shoot it pretty fast too, in semi-auto. Now, the reason why it's not an S tier is because first, I can't let my bias get the better of me. And second, this gun has some clear flaws. Is that it's really heavy and it has a sway when you're trying to aim it. Helps turning off that aim smoothing option in the settings. It helps with the aim of this gun better. But it still has it. Doesn't remove it. And that makes it pretty weird as a primary. I think it's the only primary that does that. There's other guns that are equally heavy hitting and they don't do that. Like the Slugger, but they got nerfed, so we don't talk about that. This gun is pretty useful, actually. against bugs, but only big ones, of course. You're gonna have to bring either a Gatling gun, a Gatling machine turret, or a one of the heavy machine guns, LMGs that do medium damage. Okay, not maybe medium damage, maybe bring the Stalwart as a primary. Because this gun is more like a support weapon. It's not a primary. It runs out of bullets pretty quickly. It's about the same capacity as a Scorcher. It's just that, well, it hits hard. It hits really hard, actually. It does 300 damage, I think, or 200. They buffed it recently. It's really good. But it kind of falls to the other weapons. So we have the Liberator Penetrator. Medium armor 2. Automatic gun. Honestly, I think it does the job better than the Dominator at the moment. The Dominator hits really hard. And the Liberator Penetrator has more ammo, but it does less than the normal Liberator. So I'm not sure if I should put it in front of, or like, this destroys any of the weak sides of the bugs, but this should too. Actually, this has the explosive trait. I forgot about that, and it does true damage to all squishy parts on the bugs. So I'm gonna put the Dominator above it. If you're gonna bring something that has medium armor penetration, just bring the Dominator. It's just better, I think, in my opinion. Alright, next we have a secondary weapon. The Redeemer. S tier. The only secondary you should be running, honestly. I guess you could run the Revolver on bots, but this is a bug tier list, so Redeemer is just S tier. Alright, next we have, what's this? I'm pretty sure this is the Punisher's Plasma. I used it earlier on a Hell Dive difficulty mission, and
ready to liberate!
it did nothing. In fact, we didn't get to extract and we lost the mission. It's pretty weak. Maybe I didn't find the way to use it. Maybe I didn't use it properly. Maybe it's the way I dress. Maybe it's the way I talk. I don't know. It didn't feel good to me at all. Actually, I did find it more useful than the Concussive, because it was killing the tiny bugs in one shot. I also find it very annoying that it has little range, and the projectile it shoots it has a lot of drop off. Well, it is a shotgun after all, but it feels more like a grenade launcher. It is explosive after all. It's plasma. But I like the reload. It was just one slug. You put one slug in, it's like putting a AA battery in, and it works. Now we have the counter, the Diligence counter something. I forgot their names. But we have the sniper version, which is okay. And we have the other version, which is also okay. This one's just an upgrade, but with less capacity. And this one just has more capacity. That's the difference. But we're talking about bugs, so these are pretty mid. I mean, they're good because they do a lot of damage, but you're gonna get overwhelmed very quickly. You need something to clear a lot of bugs, which is why our next gun is the Breacher. Yes, the fabled Breacher. Still the best gun in the game overall. Probably, maybe, perhaps. Okay, maybe not. For bots, it's not that good. And for bugs right now, it's S tier. It's S tier. But I think it's overshadowed. I think we have a new king. We have a new king, and that would be the Breaker Fire version. And this is why. First of all, the original Breaker has way less capacity than any of the other Breakers. That's a huge minus for an automatic shotgun against bugs. Second, it does 300 damage. It has the most damage of the Breakers. But when you think about it, the Firebreaker does 240 and it has fire damage. So technically, you're getting that same 300 damage or more with the fire added to the equation. And when you factor in that the Firebreaker has a way more ammo capacity and you can spam the crap out of this, you know, I feel like the Firebreaker is just the best shotgun right now for bugs. Hands down. It's my favorite one too. It looks so good to fire. Just seeing the fire pellets glow in the night is so cool. It does have a a higher spread, but that's on purpose because you need to spread that fire. I love shooting at a random crowd or a massive crowd and just seeing my counter go up slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the little guys just burning up and getting cooked. Absolutely one of my favorite guns too. Then we have the SSG breaker. This is honestly just a breaker. It's just a breaker, but worse. It has more ammo capacity, but it's a breaker. It does its job. Actually, I'm gonna put it at the top of A because the damage is pretty low for what it does. It says it shoots a different kind of ammunition, which is why it does less damage. But I don't see the difference in the ammunition. It's just a shotgun. Spray and pray. It's meant to kill the little bugs. I think it says that in the description. But the breaker just does that better. Of course, the spray and pray has more ammo capacity than the breaker, but that doesn't bother the breaker that much. I know I said the breaker having less capacity is really bad, but it really doesn't matter when you're killing things in 2 shots. Honestly, I still use the breaker if I didn't unlock this, so. Now we have the Punisher. The Punisher is still a really good gun to use against bugs. It kills them very fast. It does a lot of damage. And you should still run this, honestly. I'm gonna put this above the Dominator. And I'm gonna put this above the Breaker. It is really good. And what else? Yeah, it's just really good. Well, the only problem is that it's a slow fire rate weapon. That's it. That's the only flaw I see with this gun. It's awesome. Now we have the Slugger. The Slugger, I find it to be better. And even after the nerf, nothing really happened to it. It still kills things. It still kills. It's true, we don't have much stagger. And I can't believe the Liberator Concussive does that better. But it's still broken in my opinion. It's just a shotgun that is a sniper as well. It's still really good. I don't know why people are getting so dramatic about it. Does the exact same thing it used to do, just doesn't break doors anymore or stuns. Stagger's really not that important for bugs since there's so many. You're gonna stun one of them. What are you gonna do about the other 400? Now we have the last Sickle. Yeah, no questions asked. Last Sickle's S tier. Does lose to the Firebreaker on bugs though. Just having unlimited ammo, having a better default assault rifle, and it sounds amazing. It's just so good. I do find the model of the gun a little bit big, very funny, very funny and big. And when it's on your waist, it looks really stupid because it looks really big. It looks like a Nerf gun, but it's a must. One of the weapons you need, must have. The whole what was it called again? The Cyber Warbond. I forgot what it was called, but the latest Warbond is a must-have just because of this gun. One of the best energy. I think it's the best energy weapon in the game. Maybe. Next, we have another sidearm. This one's the default one you come with, and considering that it's one of the 4 you can have, I'm just gonna put it in like A, bottom of A, because it's really good. It does its job. It looks really cool too, but that shouldn't factor in on why it's on A. And the Redeemer is better than this gun in every way, even in damage and on recoil, which I find absolutely absurd because this is an SMG and it should have some recoil. But that doesn't really, honestly, your sidearm doesn't really affect the game at all. That's why I always run the revolver. I love the revolver. It's so badass. Anyways, now that we're speaking about the revolver, I guess I should put it there. I find this revolver to be better than the sidearm because of its heavy penetration. Not only does your character do a little spin when you take out the revolver does medium damage, so you can deal with those bugs that clamp down into the ground and show their armor. You know those I forgot what they're called, but you're shooting at them and then they go and they plug themselves into the ground, and you can't shoot them from the front, and you need to go to the back. Though the revolver is really useful for those kinds of enemies and any armor in particular. Honestly, brute commanders, you can dump 6 rounds into their head and their head just blows off. I love this gun and I run it despite the Redeemer being better in every way. Now we have the Defender. Defender SMG is absolutely S tier, absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. It's a one-handed SMG, but the SMG does not do what an SMG does. It has lower fire rate than an AR, and it does more damage than an AR, and it reloads really quickly, and it's one-handed. It's like a better Liberator in every way. It's more accurate and everything. It's so weird. It's an SMG. It should shoot faster and should have a lot of recoil. But I guess not. I guess Super Earth weapons are built different, you might say. You should run this too. Any of these weapons you should run on Helldive. They're viable. They're all viable. Anything above A is insanely viable for Helldive. Alright, now we have the normal weapon and the good and the jack of all trades. I'm gonna put this in here. Yeah, that's honestly I put it. Wait, whoa, and that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. Yeah, it's really good. The normal loadout completely being in A is honestly pretty balanced to me. And now we have the Knight, SMG Knight. One, if not my favorite gun in the game. The only thing drawing it back is its ammo consumption. It's essentially a slightly worse Defender SMG, and the only drawback it has is that it eats ammo like crazy. But if you can control it, ECS tier. I run this too on Helldive. Really fun. If you can control the recoil too on first person, it's insane. I guess for you controller players, this gun would be like A tier, maybe even B tier, because in controllers, kind of harder to control recoil on like PC. So I guess you could say this tier list is focused on PC bugs. Now the Plas-1 Scorcher, it's okay. It's about the same as a Dominator. I guess a little bit better. No, why would it be better? No, it's not better. Dominator does more damage. The Plas-1 Scorcher would shine on bots only, and we're not playing bots, so we're playing bugs. And next we have the Arc Blitzer. I've heard this is garbage, like the purest garbage I've seen. I haven't used it because I've been told it's so garbage. I shouldn't even own it, so I haven't actually unlocked it yet. I will, but don't feel like it. But I've seen gameplay and people use it, and it looks absolutely horrible. This gun needs a rework. So I don't know if I should put on D, on C. Is it more useful than the laser? Honestly, I think the laser is more useful than this thing. So there you have it. The tier list. We established that the breakers are really good. Basically, all breaker type weapons are insane. But Fire 1 taking the spot as the best gun for bugs. Second best gun being the Sickle. And the third, the Breaker, the original Breaker. I still think this is the king of all factions. We'll see when when the Illuminates come in, if they do. But we have a new king. Does about the same damage as a breaker with the fire damage included, and the fire damage got buffed. And I think it's really crazy right now. And it has more ammo and everything. Oh yeah, I forgot to put this. Okay, there we go. There you have it, guys. The tier list for primaries. If I feel like it, which I probably will, I'll do a tier list for bots. But currently, we don't have bots on the map anymore, so this is why the tier list is bugs only. I think I've already said this like 5 times in the video. Oh, here you have it, guys. Hope this helps. Choose your next loadout. Hopefully, it doesn't lock you out of using other weapons, though, because I feel like people don't use the stuff on B and below. Well, I guess you got a good reason to not use them. But I think you should give them a try. You might find a hidden gem you like. I like the concussive despite it being bad, but I have to put it on C tier. Because it clearly does something that is not needed in the game. And that other weapons do it better. The Dominator does it better. Okay, maybe not better stagger, but it does stagger. I think the concussive right now is the king of staggers, but it sucks at damage and everything else, so it nullifies what it can do. Well then, see ya on the next video. Hopefully this tier list helps you choose your loadout, which I already said. Sorry for that. I guess I'll cut it out. Maybe. See ya!